If you want to make your own soap at home, it's really easy to do. You'll need a few things to be able to accomplish it, but it's actually a really simple process. The first thing that you will need are some safety features. You need some vinyl gloves to protect your hands when you're working with the lye. And then also, in case there's any splashes or if the lye boils over when you add it to the liquid, you want to include some safety goggles to wear while you're working with the lye. And so you will need, if you're going to make some soap, you will need some lye. I use sodium hydroxide because I make hard bars of soap. If you want to have liquid soap, you'll need to use the potassium hydroxide in these recipes. Some other things that you'll want to have, you'll need some oils for the soap that you'll be using, and I would suggest if you're setting up your area that you pick out the oils that you want first and only include those in the area that you're going to be working with. And you can use just about any type of oil that you want. And I use only vegetable oils in the soap that I have, and it works out fairly well and makes a very good bar of soap. Some other things that you'll need some cups to do the measuring in. So let's say you're doing the oil, you want to put the cup there so that you can measure the weight of the oil. You'll also need some containers to deal with the oil and the soap, or the oil and the lye water that you're working with. You'll want to put all the oils into one container and then the lye solution into another container, and then you will mix those together at some point. So the other thing that you'll notice that I had spoons in the containers there. You'll need separate spoons for mixing the solutions that you have, mixing the oils and mixing the lye solution that you've got. And another thing that you'll need, I don't want to forget that, you'll need a thermometer so that you can test the temperature of not only the lye solution but also the oil, because you want to have both of those at approximately the same temperature before you mix them together. And then the final thing that you'll need is, if you don't want to be mixing your soap for a long time, you'll want a stick blender so that you can speed up the process so that your soap can reach trace in a short amount of time. Another thing that you'll probably need a pen and paper, or if you have your computer right next to you, you can enter these into the computer. But you'll be wanting to figure out the amount of lye that you're going to be needing, and to do that, you need to weigh each one of the individual oils that you use and write down the amounts and then calculate how much lye that you'll be using. There are a lot of free calculators on the internet that you can use to calculate that. In fact, if you go to metaphysicalfarms.com, there's a free lye calculator that will help you figure out the amount of lye that you want, as well as the amount of water that you'll want to include into that lye. And it also includes a scale if you're going to be super fatting the soap that you're making. So let's get started. The first thing that you'll want to do is determine the types of oils that you're going to be using. Now, I would suggest using a soap with a base that has palm oil in it, coconut oil, and then either soybean oil or olive oil, depending on your preference. And then you can add other oils to make different qualities in the soap that you've got. And so I've got some coconut oil right here, and I'll go ahead and just measure out a certain amount of the coconut oil. Okay, so I've poured out 8.2 ounces of coconut oil, and all I'm going to do is just place that into the canister that I've selected for all of the oils that we're going to be having here. Now, you don't have to get all the oil out of the glass there. It'll all mix together anyway. Now, if you've got a feature on your scale here to tare or to even out the weight, you want to do that now because you'll probably have some leftover oil. The next oil that I want to use is the palm oil. So I've got 7.3 ounces of coconut oil, or palm oil. I'm going to write that down, and then I'll just add it to our solution here. And then I like to add a little bit of olive oil. Now, you will notice that if you use olive oil, the soap will have a slight green tint to it, depending on the type of olive oil that you use. And so, if you don't want that green tint, you can use soybean oil, and it works just as well. And so I've got 8.7, actually just changed, 8.8 ounces of olive oil. And we'll add it to our mixture. And I'm going to be adding a few different nut oils to this particular soap. So I'm going to be adding some macadamia nut oil, tare our weight, and this is castor oil right here. Now this makes for a good bubble, but does not make the soap very good for your skin. Or it makes it actually a little bit harsh for your skin. So I'm only going to add 1.6 ounces of castor oil, just so that we can have a good bubble in the soap. And I've got some apricot kernel oil. We'll add just 1 ounce of that. Included some mango butter. And some of the oils that you deal with may be solids in nature, and that's quite alright. You just measure those the same way that you do with any other type of oil. You just do it by weight, and so I'll get a little bit of the mango butter here. Okay, and that is all of the oil that we're going to be using for this particular recipe. Now, we will have to figure out now how much oil, or actually how much water and how much lye we will need for our recipe. Okay, so I have figured out how much lye and water we need for this particular recipe that we're using. Going to metaphysicalfarms.com and using their lye calculator. I figured out that we need either 11 to 16 ounces of a liquid, and for this particular recipe I'm actually going to be using a tea. It's actually an herbal tea, and so we'll be using, actually I'll be using 12 ounces of the herbal tea, and then we need 5.74 ounces of lye. Now that includes a 5% super fatting in the solution. The website gave me an entire range of calculations, entire range of the amount of lye that we wanted to put into this particular batch, and I like to use a 5% discount for the super fatting of the soap that we've got. This just ensures that we will have a mild bar of soap and it won't be harsh on the skin. If we are using 0 or 1% super fatting, then we might have a bar that has some lye left in it, and so we don't want that. And so a 5% super fatting or 5% discount of the amount of lye will ensure that the bar that we're making is in fact a mild bar for our for use. And so what we're going to be doing here is we're actually going to be measuring out the amount of lye and then the amount of water. And so actually the first thing you want to do is measure out the amount of water that you're going to be using and place it into the container that you're going to be using there.